Tiger King. Watching Tiger King on Netflix. I've gone in there. Brockman, you said I should do it. We did it.
I did.
We're through it.
It's great.
We have survived it.
Well done.
I know there's a lot of people that are still going through it.
Yes.
So we will be mindful, if you will, of some spoiler alerts. But I turn to the phone lines. Back here on the Rich Eisen Show, a frequent guest here. He actually even guest hosted way back in the day in our first year in 2014. And he was the guy they had to turn to. I mean, if you're going to interview members of the Tiger King, if you will, universe, in Tiger King and I, a wrap-up show, a follow-up show, however you wish to call it, on Netflix as it was starting to stream this weekend, you got to turn to this guy. His name's Joel McHale. How are you, Joel?
I am well. Nice to hear from you. Your voice is that velvety fog that I love to just fall asleep to every night.
Well, I mean, but
Rich, wait, before we proceed, I must say congratulations to Chris over his baby, Gage. That's happy baby there.
Thanks, Joel. Appreciate it.
Do you have any advice for him as a first-time father, Joel, for Chris? Do you got any advice for him?
Don't leave them outside.
Let me write that one down.
That's really important.
I've got three of them, and I don't understand why I haven't focused on that for three. Joel.
I guess no. This is now. I'm going to be serious.
Okay.
Strangely, Rich, that right now people are like, oh, you're in baby jail. Enjoy every single minute of it. I'm sure you are, but this time everyone always goes. This time goes very fast. It goes faster than you think, and then it happens overnight where they're playing Fortnite and dropping F-bombs to their friends.
That's true.
So
That's true.
Enjoy this time.
Yeah, thanks. It's been almost 2 months, and it's felt like 2 days. It's gone by very fast.
Personally, Joel, I thought your advice would be don't open a tiger zoo in the middle of Oklahoma. I thought that would be some advice.
Or open a tiger zoo in the middle of Oklahoma.
My bad.
Apparently, it'll become the most popular show ever in the history of anything that's ever been broadcast.
So what was your first thought when you got a phone call saying we'd like you to interview a whole host of people from Tiger King? What did you think there?
I thought, wow. Ted Sarandos lost a bet and had to ask me to do it. So too bad for you, Ted.
Right.
Ted is a very nice man to me, and he runs the whole place. And he and Joel Gallen, I really don't know why, but I wasn't going to ask. And I don't know if they knew if they thought, here's a guy who loves snow leopards that you find in vans, Joel McHale, and which that if you have seen the first 5 minutes of the show, that reference will make sense. I was thrilled to do it because the show it really is truly fascinating. And I watched all the David Spade interviews with all the cast members, and so I was thrilled to follow up on that. And I in my mind, their answers did not disappoint.
Did you hear Jeffrey Ross's interview with Joe Exotic? Did you hear that one on his podcast, Joel?
No, how long ago was that?
It was an April Fool's joke that everybody actually took, that Jeffrey Ross somehow did get Joe Exotic on the phone. It really worked.
Wow.
Like Jeffrey Ross,
amazing.
He pulled it off.
Good.
No, he didn't really interview him. That's why I was wondering, did you try? Did you guys try to get?
Yeah, and we almost got him but it was because, from what I understand, there was some stuff going on with the virus and the jail, and he was being moved, or he was moved, or he wasn't. I wasn't sure, and so we had it scheduled for Thursday, the day the special was supposed to be released, but then we were pushing it, and we just couldn't wait any longer, and it was too uncertain, so we just went ahead with who we had, and if he's available, I would love to do another special. And
what would you ask him? What do you want to know?
Why did he wear a priest's outfit to Travis's funeral?
That's a good one. That's a good first one. That's a good opener.
That's strong.
That's a good opener. That's a good opener.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming right now he's possibly the happiest person ever that has been in jail. He's gotten everything he's wanted, and in that he is famous. I'm sure he couldn't even have imagined it. Maybe knowing him, he probably could have. So I've got I would have a lot of questions ready to go. And not all of them, because I wanted the interview to be, I didn't want to just be light affair. I wanted to be, I talked to each of them for about an hour, and they whittled each of those down to about 7 minutes. But I really wanted to have a conversation and get actual answers out, not just throw jokes at or anything like that.
No, I know that
the internet.
Because this is a serious subject. I mean, and I think that's the ultimate aspect of this. Is Joel McHale joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show? Is that there's a lot of wild stuff, and it's like rubbernecking sometimes, where you're just driving slowly by and you can't take your eyes off of some sort of accident, or disaster.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of seriousness to it, and I noticed. Yep. Did you try to interview Carol Baskin as well, Joel?
No, they didn't even, because I'm assuming, not surprisingly, they're not happy. She's obviously anybody who sees it, 99% of those people go, oh yeah, she killed her ex-husband. And they put I don't know if you saw the video on YouTube of her current husband, giving like a 10-minute argument as to how they were set up and all that stuff. I don't know if you saw that.
I have not. I will do that. I will be in on that.
And then they have a website. So I wanted it to be well-rounded. And I asked everybody on those interviews whether she did it, and they all thought she did. And no one's really addressing as much how Doc Antle is one of the creepier guys I've ever encountered with my eyes or ears, with his harem of women. And he actually said because I was doing a bunch of research, but he said in a radio interview about John Finley, and John Finley is the guy that had his shirt off for all the interviews,
yes.
And he had a couple of teeth, and now he has new teeth, obviously, gloriously new teeth. He said, Doc Antle said, oh, well, for the documentary, they made him keep his shirt off, and he already had fixed teeth, but they made him take out the teeth, do all the interviews that way, then put all the teeth in. And I was just like, nah, I don't think that was the case. And I asked him, and he's like, no. So that harem of women thing really, really was bizarre.
No doubt about that. But in terms of wanting or if you wanted to be interviewed with your shirt off, you can relate to that, Joel, right? I mean, you would definitely do that if given the opportunity.
I'm shirtless now.
I didn't even know that. I wish we weren't on the phone so I could actually see this, because I saw you on The Masked Singer. You had that shirt from the Hockey League collection. I mean, you were showing off your own guns on that one.
Who did you compare me to? The ref? Who's the ref?
Yeah, Hockey League. At Hockey League. I said you.
I think you said hockey. Yeah, no. That. I think I'll take that as a compliment, because he had bigger arms than most of the players on the field, which is impressive. So I'll take that. So, I gotta shop it any way I can, Rich. I gotta get it out there, and it's just a small part of my midlife crisis.
Well, come on, Joel. I mean, so compare Joel McHale now to Joel McHale at the University of Washington in that famous photograph that we'll show in front of the Rose Bowl.
I was way bigger then.
Look at
you. I'm 205 or 6, 7. It's like I'm always like between 2'5", 210. I was 250 pounds in that picture.
250?
So
no kidding.
I remember getting on the scale naked, as I do, and I was like 246, and I was like, oh my Lord, what's happened to me? And I wasn't nearly as fast as Mark Bruner or Ernie Conwell or pretty much any of the assistant coaches, but still. I was way bigger then. My butt was huge.
So who was
I missed that.
Who was the quarterback for you back in the day at Washington? Who was throwing? Brunell.
And yes, and
wow.
And then you also had your Damon Heward, and you had your Billy Joe Hobart.
Well, then, what a quarterback room that is, Joel.
Right, and Billy Joe used to also punt, and he would punt and throw it, and then you had Napoleon Kaufman on the team, who I think to this day he's by far the fastest person I've ever seen with my own eyes, and I don't know how. I remember him running a 4.22 40-yard dash. Is there anybody in the NFL that fast? I mean, I know there's guys as fast. Is there anyone faster?
Well, I mean, I think that's what John Ross ran at the combine. Now on the Bengals, I think he ran a 4.22, and that's absurd. So,
yeah,
you saw
and
that.
Napoleon was like 20, and I watched him bench press 400 pounds.
Get out of
and
here.
He was squatting 600. That wasn't even nearly as impressive as Ernie Conwell, who won a ring with the Rams, who now works for the NFL and is the nicest person you'll ever meet. He was 21. He was clean and jerking 365. He was benching 500, and he was squatting 800, and he ran a 4.54 or no 4.44, something crazy. And I was just going like, Ernie, I don't ever want to meet you when you're mad, because he was stronger and faster than Mark Bruner, who was the starter and who became the captain of the Steelers and won a ring. Did he win a ring with Steelers? Yes, he did, I think. Or I was going to say then he went to the Texans. But anyway, those were the days.
When did you realize I'm not cut out for football? I want to try something else and do, I guess, what you're doing now. When did that happen, Joel?
Oh, that happened the first 5 seconds I started playing football. Like I stepped on the
Come on.
I stepped on that field and I was like, oh, I should definitely not be here. These people are serious. This is I'm going to get killed out here. And they were really I knew that I should be out of football when the night the team had the most respect for me was on skit night.
What skit?
I killed it.
What skit was it? What'd you do on skit night? What'd you do? You remember?
I made fun of. Well, they said that these seniors were like, little advice: don't make fun of the coaches because for whatever reason they're very sensitive, so don't do it. And so I was like, okay. So I made fun of the team doctor. And and so it was just a series of guys coming in with different injuries, and me, because the team doctor would always kind of look at it and go, "You can still play, though." Like he would kind of accuse them of not like, "How dare you come in here?" He was a nice guy, but then the injuries started getting worse and worse, and then finally a kicker comes in. The big joke: the kicker had a thumb, like a paper cut. And then I flipped out, and I was like, grab the cortisone, take him to the hospital. That was the big joke.
That was the
and
laugh
as you
line.
can see, really bringing down the house there at the Rich Eisen headquarters, the Rich Eisen Plaza. But that was the joke.
Yeah.
And the players, I remember DeMarco Farr was the first time he spoke to me. He was just like, that was really great, man. I was like, you never said that to me on the football field. And he's like, yeah, because you're terrible. And I'm like, thank you, Mr. Farr.
And now he's Joel McHale here on the Rich Eisen Show. Again, check out Tiger King and I on Netflix. And Joel,
Yes.
So is it before I let you go? Is it possible you do this again if Joe Exotic is available? Is that a possibility, or we're done?
I would talk to him. I would talk to him in a New York Minute because.
Right.
I asked everybody on there, and this is where I don't know why I got crap. I mean, it's fine because the internet, but people are like, how dare you ask those people if he should be in jail? And everyone unanimously thought he should be in jail. And I would like to get into some of the stories that, like, Rick Kirkham told about. I mean, this is a very heavy subject, and this is why I didn't want it to be, just a humorous interview, because when they talk about the animal abuse, I would absolutely talk to him about that stuff and see what he would say.
Joel, you're the man. Thanks for the time. I know you got.
Yeah. And hey,
yes, sir.
Rich, listen to my new podcast with Ken Jeong. It's called The Darkest Timeline, and it's about community. And Ken's a doctor, and he. Oh yeah. And he knows all about the COVID-19, and he distilled it down really well. And he really needs it for his career because Ken Jeong's career is almost over, and I thought I would save it.
Man, my kids, I'm going to earn dad points today when I tell them that I spoke to you, because they cannot get enough of The Masked Singer, and I know when you pop on there every now and then, it's a festival in our household, and they do and the number the people that they think are behind the masks and costumes, it's so funny because there is a standing rule in the house. that they will get money from me and my wife if any Obama is actually in The Masked Singer, because they think it's always Barack Obama. And I'm like, I don't think that's happening. So that's one of the setups in our household.
Maybe one of the daughters would do it. Maybe, but I don't think Barack would ever do it.
Good to chat with you. Take care of yourself, Joel McHale.
Thank you, Rich. I love being on the show. And again, Chris, congratulations to you and Sarah on little Gage, and enjoy every moment of it. And dear God, I hope there's NFL football this September.
You and me both, man.
Whenever.
You're here, buddy.
Well, maybe we'll chat after the draft or during the draft or something like that, Joel. We'll chat soon.
Great. And go Seahawks, Seahawks for life, everybody.
There you go. That's Joel McHale right here on the Rich Eisen Show. At Joel McHale on Twitter, Instagram, and check out his podcast with Ken Jeong and, of course, Tiger King and I. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.